We are going to change.
Next
We will see
panel.
some minutes after.
The panel is aerial transport and work, when the future unfolds. The moderator is the Professor Michele Ottimanelli.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for the invitation. And my name is, just a brief introduction, my name is Michele Ottomanelli. I'm full professor in transportation systems at the Polytechnic University of Bari. And I am the president of the scientific board of the National Center for Sustainable Mobility. So that I would like to greet you on the behalf of our national center. And I ask to the director I would like just to invite the panelists, sorry. Mr. Rocco Nannavecchia, Andrea Sperotti, Moritz Moroder, Luigi Bruccolieri, Vadim Kramer, and Michele Ruta, please. As far as I know, one panelist is missed. Andrea Sperotti. So, could you please launch my presentation? I just want to introduce the session with the presentation of the National Center for Sustainable Mobility. So, we are just by the way, I can just give some information without the slides. And the National Center for Sustainable Mobility is one of the 5 national centers that the Italian government, the Ministry for the Research and University, has funded within the National Plan for Resilience and Recovery. Our center focused on the sustainable mobility. By the way, I now need some support. So the ministry has funded 5 national centers with 1.6 billion of euro, and our center is received 320. Okay, thank you. So the national center are 5 strategic areas for the country development, and specifically we received an amount on sustainable mobility. Our vision is addressed the sustainable mobility towards green, safe, resilient, accessible, competitive, and collaborative issues. These are some numbers just to show at glance what we are doing. We have about 700 researchers from universities and research institution, public research institution, The investment in the next years, actually, it will end in August 2025, the project, with 320 million. 58 of them are from private companies that support the project. There is staff that will be and actually has been already recruited. There is 150 million for infrastructures, that is the research itself and research infrastructures. We also are opening some open call devoted to people that it is not included in the project. And there is a call open within the air mobility spoke that is managed from the Polytechnic University of Turin. And we are also going to realize some flagship project in the next few months. This is the consortium that collaborate in this project. We have 25 public research institutions. One is the National Research Council, and the other 24 are universities. And then 24 private companies. That is, actually, we have the main players in the field of mobility, as you can say. And 9 out of 24 university leads the research activities through an hub-and-spoke organization. So we have the hub that coordinates all the activities and the management of the project, strategic lines, and 14 spokes performs the research programs with the objective of realize products and solutions with high technology readiness level. This is the organization of our research center. And as you can see, we have 5 pillars that are devoted to means of transportation. Specifically, the spoke one is devoted to air mobility. In addition, there are the technologies that are transversal to all the vectors we consider. For example, I coordinate the spoke 8 that is focused on the mobility as a service and innovative services. The spoke 1 is the one that is devoted to higher mobility. And as you can say, most of what we have said in this day is also a topic that are focused by the spoke 1. As you can also say, there are 6 universities. The leader is the Polytechnic University of Torino. And then there are some industrial players that are 6 of the 24 we have mentioned before. What are, at glance, the activities the spoke 1 is doing? So at the wide level, so as a spoke demonstrator, they are focusing on hybrid and electric aircraft for regional and general aviation. And the other one is drones for cargo and UAM middle mile delivery, specifically for example, for the short islands transportation. At local level, let's say at work package level, they also are focusing on digital twins, aircraft, and also some specific services to passenger and freight management. So what are the goals of the wide-level demonstrator? To increase the operational range of drones with high maximum takeoff weight by hybridization of the propulsion systems, demonstrate the possibility of converting a general aviation class aircraft with fully electric propulsion powered by fuel cells, And finally, the conceptual design of an hybrid electric propulsion regional aircraft with 25 seats, 50 seats. So this is just the presentation of our national center, so that we can now start the contribution from the panelists. The first one is Rocco Nanavecchia from Pipistrel Aircraft. So, you, nice to meet you, Rocco.
Nice to meet you.
Rocco holds the position of Novel Technology Fielding Lead at Pipistrel, and Pipistrel is part of Textron e-aviation company that produces small aircraft. Rocco currently is leading the deployment of the Pipistrel hybrid electric V-Tool unmanned cargo from the perspective of the regulatory and operation readiness. I don't know if you have the presentation.
I do.
So I kindly ask to, if you want, I can
Yes.
leave you, or it's up to you.
I can, if it works, we'll be fine.
Yeah, hopefully. Nanavecchia. Mr. Nanavecchia, okay. PDF.
Sì. Ma-
Non cliccare. Poi inizia a parlare di qualcosa.
Sì. Posso iniziare?
Oh, sì.
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Mr. Ottomanelli, for introducing myself. As previously said, I'm Rocco Nanavecchia, hold the position of a technology fielding lead at Pipistrel. Pipistrel is a light aircraft manufacturer. Now it's part of Textron e-aviation. That is one of the 6 business segments of Textron. Throughout the 34 years of history of this company, Pipistrel managed to set itself as a pioneer in the manufacturing and design of electric aircraft and sustainable aviation. This is stated by the certification of the first and currently the only one electric aircraft certified by the European Authority with a full type certification. It is true that we design aircraft and manufacture aircraft, but as part of our core business, we basically make innovation. And this slide is a true testament of that. Already in 2007, we started flying an electric, and since then we've been building on the outcomes of what we learned, on the outcomes of the lesson learned of the project we carried out. And this is why throughout the years we tested several new propulsion technologies, going from electric to hydrogen, and that led us to certify our Velis Electro, but also to certify the electric engine that you can see in the slides, E811. Of course, we always want to build on top of the results of previous projects because we want to give continuation to our project. And this is why in 2019 we decided to give our contribution to the enhancement of the innovative air mobility with the design of an hybrid electric cargo VTOL drone called Nuva V300. The goal of Nuva V300 was, of course, to deliver environmentally friendly digital and connected aerial cargo solution worldwide. And when we designed Nuva, we had in mind some specific pillars, of course. The first one was to offer new services, new solutions for the cargo transportation that was embracing the definition of innovative air mobility. This definition has changed a lot throughout the years, but the core message was always the same one. Offer new solutions for the transportation of people and goods using new technologies, new generation technologies. And this is what Nuva is about. It's a new solution using new technologies with the same safety and reliability levels as current means of transportation. What we wanted to do was to offer a solution that would involve even less the intervention, of course, of the remote pilot. This is why we thought of a solution that is completely automatic as a first step, and then moving towards autonomous operation through satellite communication, enabling the so-called concept of one-to-many, so one ground control station operator for multiple aircraft, in order to make this solution scalable and more efficient for what's coming into the future. Of course, the big question is always what is the regulatory framework that is supporting all this. As part of Pipistrel activities, we are highly committed to CSR3 joint undertaking in several projects. We are basically involved in 5 of them, and in 4 of them, we are trying to pave the way for the future operation of a solution like Nuova V300 in all kinds of airspaces, spacing from use space area to uncontrolled and controlled airspace. And of course, we are not part of this project just to develop new procedures to unlock new operation, but also to push the industry and engage with the partners to build and develop those technologies that are needed on board the future aircraft to make innovative air mobility a firm reality in the next future. This is all.
Thank you, Rocco. Just a question. What can the future unfold for the US ecosystem from your point of view?
The advantages of drones, the advantages that drones are already bringing and will bring in the next future are already quite clear, all right? The wide application into multiple fields suit and will suit our needs. Spacing from better transportation of goods, of people, but also when it comes to wider and better tailored application for agriculture, medical, wildlife conservation, security, but also emergency purposes, right? So we must think that drones are not only offering an alternative solution to what is possible today, but are offering and will offer new services, as we saw in these 2-day workshops, these 2-day conferences. Of course, when we started drafting the idea of Nuova V300, we knew mobility was evolving, mobility was changing one more time. So we looked again at the definition of innovative air mobility, as I was saying before, and I will remark this, that Europe was looking for new solution for transportation of goods with new generation technologies. And if we think about it, Nuova and drones that are currently on the market or currently under development is exactly what is all this about, right? Using new technologies, more efficient solutions that use new generation technologies. Of course, the goal is to deliver new digital and connected air cargo services, transportation of people, transportation of goods, survey, everything like this. And of course, whoever is manufacturing and designing a new drone or putting a new drone on the market is thinking about this. And if we think everybody is using new generation technologies, is embracing digitalization, but at the same time is trying to reduce the intervention of the remote pilot, because we need more automated system. We need to increase the concept of one-to-many, right? To remark this concept, because we'll make the solution scalable. So I think what the future can unfold for UAS, it's a broad question, right? But I believe that this solution will bring a more efficient, more scalable, and digital solution that will bring so many benefits that will be noted and noticed by the citizens that will embrace this. And in parallel to this, of course, the public acceptance will increase.
Thank you. It's not a good question. It's the question.
It's the question.
I mean, okay. If the organizers agree, since we are late, I propose just a first round of questions. If you haven't, we will have enough time. We then can go further. So the next colleague is Mr. Moritz Moroder from Flying Basket. I will skip the presentation of Flying Basket since we just have the demonstrator. And Moritz is the co-founder and the CIO of Flying Basket. Do you have a presentation or?
No, I didn't want to bother you now with a presentation after we already showed our company, so you should know us.
So if you like, I have some questions.
Yes, sure.
So-
Just maybe to give just a short perspective on our company. So because we also have been talking about different solutions for area mobility, maybe also to just make it clear what we do as a company and what we want to bring to the industry. So our core is really the development and the providing of the product as a solution to our customers. So we want to make aerial transport vehicle. So we want to give aerial transport into the hands of all kinds of businesses. So that's why we are building a platform that is actually very versatile and can be used, as you saw before, in different industries. To really bring a technology and a means of transport, so aerial transport that was only available for basically very few, to the wider businesses, so that it can become basically the van of the skies.
So thank you, Moritz. My question is another point. Since I'm not an air transport engineer, I'm a transportation system engineer. So I would like to know what is already possible today with heavy lift cargo drones.
Mm-hmm. So what we have been able to do together with our customers as of today, I'll bring just a few examples. So in telecom industry, we are actually able to transport antennas up to the weight of 100 kilos, for example, to upgrade existing antenna towers from 3G or 4G communication to 5G communication. So in this case, we are replacing cranes or helicopters or even manual lifting. So we are actually taking weight off the shoulders of the people and making this process smoother and faster with one single machine that is our drone. That can, like obviously just lift vertically, but also, for example, reach antennas that are in hard to reach places like mountains or islands. Then energy infrastructure. Energy infrastructure is a big topic, right? So now that we also talk about climate change, we talk about our need to build new power transmission systems. With our drone, we are capable, for example, of doing the cable stringing, even for high power transmission lines. So this means we are able to pull pilot lines for then actually pulling the high voltage power lines also over large distances. So many cases this is either done as of today with the helicopter, which obviously is very expensive, noisy, polluting. In many cases it's though also still done by hand. So again, taking off the hard work from people and really helping people with giving them this technology that also becomes affordable for the smaller businesses that can not afford a helicopter, or can also use basically a drone where the helicopter is not available. Because I mean, here in Europe, we have a lot of helicopters, but it's not everywhere like that. Not in every country of the world there is a helicopter available for doing this kind of work. So there is not even the possibility to use aerial transport in many countries.
Okay, thank you, Morden. The next panelist is Mr. Luigi Bruccolieri, D-Flight. It's from ENAP Group. We already met. Luigi is a Research and Innovation Manager, seconded in D-Flight. He is coordinating D-Flight contribution in national and international research project dealing with U-Space innovation. Please.
Yes, thank you, Professor. I take advantage of this short slot to quickly give you some bit of information more with respect to the previous panel I presented and the demo participation, where in the demo, of course, we had no chance to go in deep on the U-Space services we have in D-Flight, and we are developing and maturing for the provision to US operators. Just to highlight that U-Space is composed of two basic collaborative traffic management pillars. The first part is based on strategical deconfliction. And for this reason, of course, there are two important services to provide, the geo-awareness and the flight authorization mechanism. Geo-awareness to let people know where it's possible to fly or not to fly. I try to take in simple words what USpace is in brief. And flight authorization is to collect the demand and to be sure that there is a strategical deconfliction of all WAS traffic generated by the demand. So this is the first pillar of the concept of USpace that is based on strategically deconflicted in a strategic phase. Then there is the tactical phase, where, of course, we want to have to approach a tactical monitoring of the situation, because we know that we are in a sunny day, but there could be also some unusual or some event, like of course, for doing this, we need to know where UAS operations are. And then there is another important of the four mandatory services of USpace, that is network electronic identification service, which allows, with the Pollicino, we have seen and we mentioned several times in the demo, so the possibility with a tracker on board of the drone or with other techniques, with Pipistrel and Honeywell in a demonstration of Welcome, we achieved the interoperability by means of exchange of the telemetry data arriving in the ground control station of the drone directly to provide the network identification service, and then to know where the Pipistrel flight UAS was flying. I don't go deeper on this, but the other part of the second pillar of the tactical deconfliction part of USpace is the traffic information. So collecting all this electronic information of where the localization identity of a flying object or cooperative flight object are, together with the stream of the data coming from the manned aviation, so where helicopter can interact with the USpace volume. Of course, it's important to depict and to provide to us operator the proximity, the concerned traffic in a synthetic way in order to let him to apply the best solution to maintain the safety, the safety of the operation itself. We mentioned already in this panel Welcome, so Pipistrel is member of Welcome, especially in the Italian cluster under the leadership of INAV. So in this case, of course, again, the focus is USpace and the possibility to have a demonstration of the market uptake of USpace U1, U2 services. We have a very huge amount of partner. We try to use Welcome as the way to let emerge and to consolidate all the flying activity planned in Italy, especially for the UAS operators that are mentioned in the, as members of the project, but not only. So there is a possibility to use this project, of course, to have a sandbox for USpace and to understand and to prepare for the future, let me say, and usage of USpace. Here is just an overview of the places where we already had operation, and we collect the data, and we will report at the end of the campaign of flight of 2023 in the project. We have the honor to have also the coordinator of the project with us, Giancarlo Ferrara, that is Eurocontrol leading the whole project, Welcome project, because in addition to the Italian cluster, there is also the Spanish and French one. This is just a key of messages. So there is the future is, so this is the start of USpace. There are a lot of open questions and new research topics to take into consideration, especially to take advantage of this innovative air mobility that is coming with the need to understand how the vertiport stop, emergency point, and all that these sophisticated sophisticated UAS operation may require in terms of interface and link with USpace. So there are some peculiarity to look at. Of course, rules and especially for the innovative air mobility that at beginning will be manned. So manned, USpace is not providing service to manned aviation. So we have to understand how to treat this first operation that will be expected to be drone at the end, but at beginning there will be a pilot on board. So are we completely managed with the VFR rules, or because of their peculiarity we need something in the middle or something special to be used? So, and of course there are strategical deconfliction. Maybe it's too much. It's enough for the time being. But if we see the drawing with a lot of drones flying, maybe try to have a complete strategically deconflict, geotemporal strategical deconfliction from the beginning. It's really hard. Thank you. I have no other.
Thank you. Thank you, Luigi. Just a question. I understand that it is possible to participate to the experimental
yes.
USpace Aerospace campaign, isn't it?
Thank you for this question, because giving me the possibility to launch, of course, as an opportunity. So we know that the Welcome Project wants to build sandbox or places where we want to apply the USpace rule just as a sandbox. We already explained what a sandbox is. We don't need any more to tell. So, of course, we have 6 UAS operator beneficiary, but of course, opportunity traffic is welcome. So you have my contact, or maybe you can ask a friend that know me to be in contact, and we will manage to try to include maybe other operation to you, and also to let you experience USpace service before the publication of the first USpace Aerospace.
Thank you, Luigi.
You are welcome. You are welcome.
The next panelist is Vadim Kramer. It's okay. Is VTT Tech Research Center of Finland. Vadim is a senior scientist at the Technical Research Center of Finland, and he plans and manages international and research and development project. Do you have presentation? So please, the stage is yours.
Maybe I can speak that better heard through the microphone. Thank you very much, Michelle, for this. Let's see how does it work. Okay, it works somehow. First of all, let me introduce, I have not prepared many slides, rather some points for discussion. And there you see challenges that we discovered in the course of 2 projects. First of those is AirMoor, that is Horizon 2020 funded project to develop urban air mobility. And the project focused on emergency medical services, one of the areas that have a little bit better perception and acceptance by general public. And then the other is DROLO, that is a national project in Finland. The budget is about 10 million euros. And that is the one under which we established pre-commercial use spaces. And we used Astra use space system to supplement our operations. I was very happy to see these demos today and yesterday that were demonstrated in the course of this event. Let me share that we also did a few weeks ago. There was a flight from the controlled airspace near the airport to the island nearby of the city of Oulu. So the drone operated through the air corridor, and the total distance was 35 kilometers, so it landed to the center of municipality on the island and came back. So 25 minutes this all took. So it was absolutely beyond visual line of sight, and a very interesting trial. And the other was also from almost the center of city of Oulu, and again to the same island was beyond visual line of sight operation. These are very much needed, especially to include those communities that are residing on the islands, a little bit difficult to reach by traditional traffic. But anyways, this is a list of those challenges that we collected. So first of those have already been well discussed during these 2 days, and that's social reaction to drones. And here I would not like to speak of acceptance, because acceptance is something like a slavery. You must accept or not, and then consequences something. But UIC2 network that is led by Vasilis Agoridas, that is citizen communities that develop urban air mobility. So they speak of public embracement. So that's where public is involved in the development of few spaces, and then it is easier to those co-creative processes. They could simplify a little bit communication with public and make it easier a little bit their perception towards urban air mobility and drone operations. Then perception of green, that is one of the methods that has been discussed a lot, and we have different agreements, and the last is Paris Agreement, and there are some features to reduce something by that number. But now we speak of operations in urban area, operations of drones, and basically not many of us count what does that actually mean? What does that mean green? What is the do we have any numeric value to reduce what by what, and how to calculate? For example, life cycle, the entire life cycle is not considered often. When we speak of operations of drones, that's like electric power, it means green. Not entirely, because we need to take into consideration the production phase, and then operational phase, but also to storage, how to store equipment, how to provide maintenance, and then those batteries, they also need to be disposed when out of the operation cycle, and that's also very expensive and not very green. So we need to have some good methodology how to define how green is the operation that is needed for public, because we better not to fool people, better to be honest and say that it is green to this extent. So something like that is needed. And understanding of noise was the other problem. Yeah, people said that drones produce noise, but actually some tests showed that not exactly, and depending on what kind of noise. So that is another challenge that we need to work with. Then an awareness of local authorities about use space and urban air mobility. That has been a terrible situation in Europe. Even though the legislative framework or regulatory framework for use space came into the force on 26th of January this year, we still have quite many municipalities and bigger cities that are not aware at all about use space. What is that? Insufficient business demand. That is an interesting one, has been discussed during these 2 days as well. And if you would ask me, my personal opinion, that social reaction and business demand, those are key elements. Whatever excellent technologies we have, if society doesn't want that to happen in their cities, then they don't want, and nothing will work. But then again, if we don't have business demand to establish those use spaces, and that's obviously needed, so use space has to be business driven. It is not so that we decided to have use space just for good, no. And how to achieve it, a good question. Then infancy of the entire air mobility domain, that's essential, and here I don't speak about urban or advanced or innovative air mobility. There are 3 of those notions as we saw during these days, but air mobility. Infancy, why? Well, common information service providers, do we have in our countries? In most, not, or not at all yet in Europe. I don't know, maybe it happened that yesterday someone was awarded, but so far not. Then use space service providers, the same situation. UAS operators, there are, but now because of regulatory demand, they need to provision use space or use space services and etc. So it's very infancy, not all elements are in place. Then ground infrastructure, I think that Giancarlo has excellent overview of those elements about ground infrastructure, and that includes a lot. That includes includes indeed the power and electricity or hydrogen, and how is that on site or provided from a long distance? And do we speak of some centralized hubs, or do we speak of distributed system? And then we again need to think that eVTOL operations, there has to be emergency landing spots, etc., etc. Then underestimating of urban planning processes. That's a very challenging one. In Japan, they are very fast. They started it, by the way, in year 2021 to have by 22. To have by 2025 eVTOL operation for the World Exhibition in Osaka 2025. So 3 operations for it's like a national project, very fast, still 3 years. Think of that. Typically, urban planners, they have their plans for 5 to 8 years ahead. So if you would like to position somewhere a vertiport, don't wait these 5 years, because when you will come to their office, they will say, well, plans are ready, please come in 5 years, then we will put it on our paper and we will think how to design it. And then in 5 years, we will have it. So 10 years from now on. Be aware. And of course, disruptive impact of the politics that has been discovered. So if there is an election in the country and you have a new minister who is not maybe very much aware and support these things, use space, urban air mobility, etc. It happened in several countries in Europe that have a negative impact. So these are the challenges. And next slide. There are some findings, maybe how to approach that. I will try now to go a bit faster. So market-driven operations may prevail, or situation or market-driven. And what is situation? What I already said, emergency medical services. Then maybe search and rescue operations. Those are fine. Those are expected to be faster. But then market-driven, sometimes you indeed save a lot when you do this with drone, not with the traditional transportation means. So then there would be some boost on that. And the next 2 points that were developed under AirMore project, and if you will check the deliverables, you will see that there is a model for CO2 emissions and dashboard tool. And that model, by the way, says that majority of CO pollution comes from infrastructure to ensure operations of drones. And then noise and visual pollution mapping tool that was also developed under this project. Then unawareness of local authorities about use space and UAM. This is exactly the same phrase, but let's turn disadvantage into the opportunity. So in Italy, what I see, municipalities are well aware of what is happening in the country and what is urban air mobility, etc. In some countries, not at all, but that is maybe opportunity for businesses and to come and get in touch with city authorities and educate them and help to understand and all together develop the vision how to develop business in their cities. Premium price to cover a negative impact, that's something what we might expect. So the initial operations might be a bit expensive and only affordable by VIP. And those operations, of course, people would be ready to pay premium price to cover the negative impact. Experimenting, co-creating, and embracing, that is something that would help to move it forward. Developing a new concept of the cities of the future. That is something that we have to discuss because our children will have to live in a better world. And if even now we do not, even by some of us, by ourselves, we do not understand all the benefits that air mobility may bring to us, but we need to create the basis for the future, so the better cities of the future where our children will live in that world, where more will fly in the air, less on the asphalt. Because again, we need to remember that all those roads, asphalt and railways, they're very expensive to maintain. And that is also one of the CO2 impact. Approaching the urban planners very well in advance, I already mentioned. Very important point, and we may not avoid some compromises. It is something that is always difficult when you have a so multi-stakeholder environment. Some stakeholder groups may not be entirely happy, and that is, unfortunately, they call it life, c'est la vie. So these are the moments that I wanted to bring to our discussion. Thank you very much.
You are welcome. So, Vadim, just a question about, we understand that the technology, let's say the supply system is quite ready to be launched. What we need is the demand about the services. So how can we facilitate the increase of the demand of innovative technologies?
So there was yet another slide. If we could please put it back. That is something that might help me to answer. So there is a map. If they put it back, there is a map and several vertiports that we planned in the city of Oulu. So for your information, the city of Oulu is 208,000 inhabitants, 350 together with the surroundings. And you might ask, that many vertiports, why for? But every of that point is some kind of it's not a hub, it is a place where a good connection for certain businesses or kind of cargo ways or something else. So all these points, they were figured out by considering the potential business needs or needs of society. For example, there is one from the airport to the new residential area, or to the VTT, where we are establishing the first in Finland vertiport. So that's for VIP customers, yet in the future will be maybe more mass transportation. But we do have traffic jams in the city of Oulu. So someone who is very much in a rush would rather take eVTOL and fly faster. And of course, now it is very expensive, but what we expect that in the future prices will go down and it will be a bit more affordable, maybe a bit more expensive than taxi, but taxi will stuck in the traffic jam and aircraft will not. So this could help. So all these elements that society would benefit, people, first of all, there is one place near the hospital as well, and then businesses would benefit. To deliver something, to bring something, to serve something, that could help a little bit. And the only problem, they are not yet probably aware. For example, the event like now, I see quite many colleagues who are in this domain developing something or doing business or offering, they have service offer or hardware offer, but not many companies here who are potential beneficiaries of this. Besides those that were part of the project, that were invited, like Flying Basket, you already have the port also together with you. So that's excellent, but we need to have more of this. We need to spread this information outside of our knowledge domain and educate businesses that they would be aware that is possible, because they're probably not. So that is maybe one of the ways, but honestly, I don't have the entire answer to this solution. That is something that communities still need to work on.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. I support your vision, and actually, I understand that the demand is made by the users, and maybe we should educate users to this new kind of services, and also to, let's say, explain them. We have to show all the potential of it, and also understand their willingness by some, let's say, survey tools, innovative, VR, and so forth. And this is one of the topic of the DTA project we are collaborating with, the SHAME project. We would like to understand the willingness of the user to use these innovative services. Thank you, thank you. Now it's the turn of Michele Ruta, my friend of mine from university. Michele is a full professor at Polytechnic University of Bari, and is a member of the board of directors of the Apulian Airspace District, and he is the scientific supervisor for the House of Emerging Technology project, also known as Bari Open Innovation Hub. So, Michele, please.
Thank you, grazie. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm the scientific supervisor of the project named House of Emerging Technologies, founded by the Italian Ministry of Enterprises and Made in Italy, the former Ministry of Economic Development. It's a project really relevant for the Bari municipality. It's a project with 48 duration months, which has been started in the April 2021 and funded with 6.5 million euros. And this project is devoted to experiment novel technologies, emerging technologies such as blockchain, but also artificial intelligence and technologies, let's say, tied to smart mobility in a framework related to smart cities for making innovation hub here within the Bari municipality and then in the area of the city of Bari. Basically, the project is thought to experiment a novel solution of mobility under the coverage of 5G as a high-throughput network link. And the final goal of the project is to make a smart urban district where the urban municipality of Bari could experiment, could prove novel technologies at an early stage in order to perform an early adoption, an assessment, a general assessment for providing a widespread further adoption for citizens. The final goal of the project is to have basically a living lab. We have 3 different areas. The first one is here in Fiera del Levante, in the neighborhood of this pavilion, in the pavilion 169, where we have the Urban Control Center. And here in Fiera del Levante, we have that have been deployed several sensor hubs, but also smart traffic lights, smart lighting solutions. And here in Fiera del Levante, we have also performed an experiment related to a multimodal mobility by exploiting both aerial mobility performed by drones, along with autonomous vehicles, autonomous smart vehicles such as the Navia shuttle represented here, in order to have a possibility of experimentation of a novel solution for multimodal mobility. We have also 2 other hubs in the Bari municipality, another one in Porta Futuro 2, it is in the center of the city, and another one in Polytechnic of Bari, in our university, where we have the city of experiments, where we have the city of ideas. Here you can find some sketches, some pictures related to the experiments when we have proved the interaction between the Navia Shuttle Evo with the drones in order to have application scenarios related to integrated logistics, novel territory surveillance, but also novel approaches for monitoring risks and particular events within a urban district. Another important thing to say is that, an enabling technology for smart mobility is the software-based technology. In other words, we have to say that an enabling technology is also the technologies allowing the possibility of processing the large amounts of data coming from these experiments and in general coming from novel smart mobility solutions, because vehicles, both terrestrial or aerial vehicles, are incredible data generators, and those data should be processed, should be analyzed in order to have a forecast of possible patterns, and this is a goal, a relevant goal of the Urban Control Center located here in the neighborhood of this pavilion, because we have a virtual counterpart of every entity moving within the area, considering pedestrians, considering traditional vehicles, but also novel autonomous vehicles, drones, and so on. Here you can find my reference, and if you want, I can available for possible collaboration in the framework of this project.
Thank you, Michele. So one question for you too. This project involved the municipality, the metropolitan area of Bari. So my question is, what is the role of public administration to facilitate the widespread of smart mobility solution?
The public administration plays a pivotal role in the possibility of a large and widespread, but also a safe adoption of novel technologies, and in particular of smart mobility solutions, because the PA is an actor allowing to share facilities, to share spaces, to share know-how, and to provide a privileged interface towards citizens. And then, in other words, the public administration could put in place living labs in order to perform experiments at an early stage, and to have a large assessment of the application in the field of novel technologies. In this world, in this way, basically we can have a first assessment of everything we want to prove, and we can involve scientists, we can involve citizens, we can put in the same place several actors involved in the process of the adoption of large and novel technologies. Here in the Bari municipality, this is happening because the project is a project considering that novel technologies such as blockchain, the ones mentioned before, artificial intelligence, smart mobility solutions, could be put in a urban area, in a living lab representing a urban district, and here we can have every possible ideas, we can have every possible solutions, and we can perform every experiment related to this the application to these novel technologies.
So we can start from Michele, the next round, so we can finish the job. Can the air mobility solve some problem relevant to logistic in the municipality of Bari? And what the obstacles you imagine about the deployment of these services?
The air mobility is surely a relevant element to solve some relevant issues related to logistics, to mobility in the Bari municipality. There is a large investment of the Bari municipality in the experimentation of novel mobility solutions. You have to consider that here in Bari there is the convergence of the traffic generated by the city with the one generated by the interport and the port area. And the aerial mobility is envisioned as a possible solution of this problem. You have to consider anyway that the aerial mobility solutions need for enabling infrastructures. And then it is not enough to put in place simplistic aerial mobility solution when a high throughput link connection is lacking. And then the idea behind the project of the Bari municipality is to cover the areas where we have a smart mobility solution in place with a 5G connection. But we need also, as said before, not tangible infrastructures, such as the one, software-based one, where we have the data manipulation, because also data manipulation are really relevant for the final adoption of these technologies, considering that by exploiting the data analysis, we can perform and we can obtain relevant information, not explicit relevant information, and this information are relevant for decisors for obtain a decision support system as a urban control center should be.
Thank you, Michele. Then let's come to the origin, to the unfolding activity. So, Rocco, what is hindering in the UAS ecosystem unfolding and technology progresses?
Thank you for the question. So I believe that in addition to the challenges in building the trust of the authority and of the citizens, of the public, something that industry are facing is the ever-evolving and incomplete regulatory framework, right? This is putting a risk on the market uptake of these technologies that can basically limit the operation, limit the scale of drone operation, but also reduce, let's say, make less fruitful the investment, and this will suppress innovation. There is a risk of suppress innovation, of course. I see that there are basically, for instance, two main concerns. The first one is that not all the category of drones clearly know what is going to be the regulating environment that they're going to deal with in a couple of years or soon. And this will freeze, because the industry at a certain point will have to freeze the design. And this is actually not possible with an ever-evolving regulatory framework. I know that regulation always comes after the technologies, right? Authority want to understand how the technology works, want to understand what are the consequences, what are the risks, and then they shape the regulation. But of course, this has to be better tailored. The second concern I have is also related to testing of these new technologies. Right now, all the testing shall go through one-off cumbersome waivers that takes too much time. And this is hindering innovation rather than facilitating it. So I believe what's important right now, and authorities should have set as a priority, is first to engage way more with industries, right? SESAR is doing this, and this is great because it's putting all together the main stakeholders that they're going to use, they're going to offer these services, and we are collecting inputs for the authority. So this is great, this is the way to go, and I really hope we are going to move towards this direction in the next months and years. Regarding the second point, instead for the testing, here I want to remark and share something that was said yesterday by Marco from EuroSC. It's important that we have a streamlined regulation that for the operational authorization issue, so when they have to be issued, they have to be done, this has to be done in a predictable and timely manner. Otherwise, this, as I said, will suppress innovation, make flight test campaign, make the testing way more complex than what it is already right now. So I believe and I hope that authority will move towards this direction and will suppress once for all the room for interpretation. This was already a big problem in SORA 2.0, and I'm super happy that SORA 2.5 is going to remove this, and I hope they're gonna follow this thread.
Thank you for your answer, quite articulated. And then Luigi, so everyone could join your U-Space, as you told, the experimentation. What are the main challenges in deploying U-Space?
That's the other side of the
medal.
coin, yeah, of the medal. With respect to what Rocco said about. So it is a very complex ecosystem. It is a really complex ecosystem. So we know. So Rocco mentioned the regulation, but I would like focus more on standards part that in some part are still work in progress. So for sure, in order to have a complete interoperability among all the stakeholders of this complex ecosystem, for sure standard will support it better. So we know that there are some working group hardly working on some part, so there are ongoing activities, but this is one of the aspects. And then, of course, the challenge is that also to have the first instance of this deployment in place. No, that's It's not an easy job. We have seen that there are not only internal issues to cover, but also to look at externally. So it's not just a technical problem to solve, but also social, etc., etc. That I think it's the real challenge. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. In fact, this is my point of view. We all know about technologies. We do not know nothing about people. This is the main point in deploying these new technologies. So next, again to Vadim. Vadim, the problem is the same. So how can we correctly spread or attract public embracement to increase positive perception of innovative mobility services?
Oh, I wish I would have the answer to this question. Let me have a little bit of a fantasy.
All of us.
Yes. There was a real situation happened during one of the test flights, the test actions. I will not provide details, but the drone was in the air, and people were kind of looking at it as an enemy, scaring. And then someone said that, well, actually that was an emergency case, so the drone goes to save someone's life. And it was like a switch. Immediately the perception changed. You know, some authorities in some cities, they are very clever. Police, for example, they have web pages and they are present on social media. And every time they lift their drone up, they drop a message that anyone can read, that this is this kind of law enforcement operation, something. The same about emergency medical services. I like very much this approach. Also, I like very much that the European Commission has thought about that, and they are working now on a portal to bring this information and distribute it to all stakeholders, not only knowledgeable stakeholders, but to anyone. And I know that in Spain, a few weeks ago, there was Expotronica event, and there was U-Space Stakeholder Network meeting, and they presented that they are planning to have their own portal to educate people in Spain, and I really like that. We discussed about something similar like that in Finland, even though we have not progressed that far. But these are maybe important moments to have this kind of portals for whatever groups of stakeholders we could reach, and establish communication channels with whatever groups of stakeholders we could reach. And those are maybe local. I'm very happy to hear in Bari what you do, and also there was a deputy major yesterday, and it looks like he supports whatever your activities. So I don't know how much people are happy with everything that is flying above. This is a good question then. For example, Tomer, he said today that to enable businesses, we need to allow drones to fly everywhere. But I'm not entirely sure whether the general public would like to have masses of drones above their heads. You could not see sun even. That is something that we need to work with them. Maybe if it is something for good, it would work. But we need to discuss and develop that together with them. So that's why this embracement, not acceptance. Yeah. Well, let's see how we'll proceed with this. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So the last question is to Moritz. Moritz, on your opinion, it is really possible to start now, in this moment, to use to open a business on cargo drone today?
Yeah. So we have been talking here also about a lot of the challenges, and a part of this challenge is exactly like it has been said, to understand what the need is. So what do the users of the final service or of the product actually want and need to have? And if we provide something that is actually useful for users, they are willing to adopt it, they are willing to use it, and they are willing to accept it. And what we have shown by working directly with the end users of the solutions is that we can actually today already, even though there are constraints in the regulation, even though there might not be all the infrastructure and everything in place already, we still can already start today. And this is also why we, for example, as a company, also decided to open up our product, like the FV3, for other drone operators to be able to also implement services in their respective locations.
Thank you very much. So we have no time to continue. We have just understand that different standpoint has been placed on the table, and so the roadmap is now known. We know the benefits, we know the costs, so we are ready to take all the challenges this air mobility can offer. So that we have finished. Thank to all of you for your
Thank you.
participation, and also to attend to this session.